here, and today I'm going to show you a few simple ways you can make your 2-5 lines sound more interesting. So we know the 2-5-1 progression is one of the most common chord progressions in jazz, and being able to play through a 2-5-1 progression is kind of a rite of passage for all jazz musicians, being able to make the changes. So a 2-5-1 in the key of C is D minor 7, G7, and C major 7. 2-5-1. When we get to the 5 chord, that's the real moment where we can build some tension and dissonance, because the 5 chord resolves to 1. So when we make the 5 chord sound really tense and really dissonant, it makes our landing back home at the 1 chord sound even more convincing and make it feel even more comfortable to land back at home. And part of the way we make the 5 chord sound a little more dissonant, a little hipper, a little more interesting, is by adding the altered tones. The flatted 5th, the raised 5th, the flatted 9th, or the raised 9th, or any combination of those notes. And if you're not sure about altered chords or what altered chords are, click the link below. I did a lesson on altered chords and you might find it helpful for this lesson. So basically, when you're improvising over the D minor 7, you'll use the Dorian scale. That's the scale that goes with the D minor 7 chord. Once you get to the G7, there are a couple scales that you can use for the altered sound. The G altered scale, which is the same scale as A melodic minor, but starting on a G. You could also use the Half-Whole Diminished. Or even the G whole tone scale. These scales all contain some or all of these altered tones. But a really easy way, without even thinking of those scales, is to take your idea that you play over the 2 chord and move it up a minor 3rd to F minor and play that idea over the 5 chord. So let's take a look at what's going on there. Over the 2 chord, we're just playing right out of Dorian. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5. And then when we get to the G7 chord, we'll just move that up to the 10th fret. And it sounds like an F minor idea, but really these are the chord tones of the G that we're hitting. We're hitting F, the flatted 7th, G, the root, A flat, the flatted 9th, B flat, the sharp 9, and C, which is the 11. And then we'll resolve it down to E, which is the 3rd of C, which is our 1 chord. So I'm just taking that same idea, copying and pasting it up to F minor, and I'm playing it as if it's F minor, but it's over that G7 altered chord, and then just resolving by a half step to C major. So here's another line using that same concept. So we're going to start on the flatted 3rd, the 4th, the 2nd, the flatted 3rd, and the root, and then up the scale. Same thing, up a minor 3rd, over the G7 chord, and that's like the flat 9, the sharp 9, the root, the flat 7, root, flat 9, sharp 9, and then we'll take this B flat, that's the sharp 9, and just move it a half step. So when we land on the 1 chord, we're playing the 7th scale degree of C, which is B. So it's a really smooth transition into 1. So it sounds like we're very stable, a little more distant, and then we resolve back home. So here are those 2 ideas put together. take your idea that you play over the 2 chord, your D minor Dorian idea, move it up a minor third over the 5 chord, and you'll get some of those great altered tones to create some tension, and then just resolve by a half step into a chord tone of C. So we can similarly do the same thing over the 5 chord, but instead of going up a minor third, we'll go to A flat minor. So we'll just go to the minor that lives a half step above the 5 chord. And then resolve back to C. And resolve back to the G, which is the 5th of C major. So here's another example using that. So we'll start with a nice D minor Dorian idea. Slide down a half step, there's that A flat, because now we're going to think A flat minor over the 5 chord. So there's A flat, the flat at 9, the flat at 7 of G7, raise 5, major third, sharp 9, flat 9, root, flat 7, and that brings us into the E, that's the third of our 1 chord of C major 7. So similarly, we can take a D minor line. Everybody knows that jazz cliche. And we're going to play the same idea, but starting on D flat. So we're going to play this idea out of an A flat minor shape. We're getting the sharp 4, the 3rd, the raised 5th. Now we're getting the major 7. That note doesn't quite belong with the G, but it's okay because we're creating a bit of tension. It's an outside note. And then we're playing the sharp 9, the flat 9, and then there's the 5th. So we have so your ears follow that sound because it's the similar contour. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it's been helpful. I got a lot more videos coming up, a lot more lessons, performances, and gear demos, so hit subscribe. Let me know some more topics you'd like me to cover in these lessons, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.